Hey, it's Pete.
And Norm.
Today, tonight, tomorrow, right now, we are talking Star Wars.
Here he is.
Okay, so we're here talking Star Wars
I'm excited.
on the eve of Rogue One,
Yeah.
and we are we're both 2 days away. We're both seeing it Friday,
Right. 7:30 for me.
and 8:30 for me.
Mm.
And then, what's our plan of action? Are we going to try and record Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday or Sunday. Preferably early morning. I got finals Monday I have to prep for.
Okay, we'll figure that out. I can do probably Saturday morning.
Okay.
I think and then it'll be fresh for both of us.
Right.
Now, do you have a desire to see it again if it's kind of overwhelmingly good?
Potentially. It could be an option.
Yeah. I always think Star Wars movies need to be rewatched a few times because there's always a lot to take.
Especially with this one, there's going to be references and Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Although I heard not a lot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, let me tell you what I've heard, because we've had a run of YouTube reviews, non-spoiler reviews.
I stayed away from the YouTube ones. I mainly just did the critic screen and quick little blurbs on Facebook and whatnot.
Well, you can tell me what you read, and I will tell you what I saw and heard.
Okay.
So the Schmoo podcast, they're all of these reviewers are people that I view as influencers.
Okay.
Okay, they're like someone like the biggest audience on YouTube. They kind of they both had really good things. Or two of these guys, positive stuff. Beyond the Trailer, which is a female-run one.
Okay.
Very cute girl too. I think her name's Grace. She's super cute, super geeky. Okay. She beyond loved it.
Very nice.
She went crazy. So that's two. Jeremy Johns, who I'm not sure, he's super cool. He has like that red background, and he jump edits his reviews.
Maybe.
So he's always they're so well done. They're very funny. He loved it. Chris Stuckman liked it. Collider liked it, but they kind of bashed some of the music. They bashed the title card, and they didn't like that it had no opening crawl. And yeah, so far it looks like the people who criticize it, the criticism is coming from people not being Star Wars people.
I can see that.
Not knowing what the what the lead-ins are, and maybe feeling like that they're left out of stuff. And I guess the reverb from that is that they are upset that the movies aren't meant for everybody.
Okay.
But what movie is?
Yeah, pretty much.
What if you own Rome? And they make Gladiator. So
you just don't see it.
You don't see it. Or you can watch it and just be like, I don't like the Rome stuff.
Yeah.
Or
go have an orgy.
Or
I don't know.
Or okay, we're back. We just had a little difficulty there. Just checking. So yeah, I don't know. Everything looks overwhelmingly good for Rogue One so far.
Right.
And people are commenting that it is a little darker, a little bit more mature. That seems to be a little bit of a trend with blockbusters.
I can see that.
To where it's serious. Okay. And, even Garth Edwards, the director, again, super serious Godzilla movie that he did.
Right.
Which I love that movie.
Okay.
Where are you at with Godzilla?
I watched it. I didn't like it.
What did you?
I'm not a big Godzilla fan. It just, if you're gonna call a movie Godzilla, put the monster in the movie.
Yeah.
That's
see.
I can appreciate hiding him behind the veil and everything, but Godzilla's been around for 60, 70 some odd years.
I think there were a couple opportunities where people wanted, even if it was going to be like a reveal, they wanted not to feel like it was kept from them,
Right.
like the way how you saw it on TV.
That and they
like,
play up Bryan Cranston so much in the
yeah,
trailer, and I'm a fan of him. Not super huge, but like he's a good actor, like good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And he's just barely. I hate when movies advertise like, oh, da da da, and it's all built around that, and then you just the only movie that works for is Scream because the whole idea is
yeah. See, I think a little bit of the storytelling today is it's really exposition and it's character driven,
Mhm.
and a lot of the criticism is lack of character, which really puzzles me because I think the blockbusters are led into the modern era. Yeah, we could just reference. You can even reference Jurassic Park,
right.
Independence Day,
Uh-huh.
Armageddon.
Right.
These characters were not deep,
No, none of them.
but now they seem deep, and you get that, and you get these conflicts, and you get this little bit of this turmoil, and they're better with expressing what these characters are and what they're doing,
Right.
and adding backstory to them very quick. Pacific Rim being a great example of another giant monster movie that got knocked for lack of character.
See, I feel like that one's overly character driven and not enough of what everyone went to see.
Yeah. See, and and I think because these movies have more elements, people take away different pieces of them.
Right.
And they emphasize what they like, and they compress what they don't, more or less smother what they don't like or forget. But it's there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And so I think this guy's really talented, even with Godzilla. I think that he set out to do this mythology around Godzilla, like a real history of where the monster came from, which was kind of like an extension of what he did with Monsters. Have you seen Monsters? Monsters was his like first, I think his first halfway decent movie.
Okay.
Or like, I'm sorry, his first like theatrical released, his first full feature attempt.
Okay.
And Monsters is essentially a kaiju movie where there's a demilitarized zone.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't get into that.
And they sealed that. Yeah, I mean, like that's a lot of what Godzilla had. It was like a lot of this moving through an area that's you're not supposed to be there. It's a little bit of a dark territory.
Cloak and dagger,
Yeah.
sneaky.
And at the end, you get a little bit of a reveal of like what these creatures are. But the movie's not. I mean, I thought the character conflict in that was really good. The guy and the girl. Like
Okay.
they had it was like a really deep kind like hidden secret romance, and I kind of forget some of it, but I remember like there was a connection between the two of them, and I think the guy dies or the girl dies, and you're just like, oh, okay. But he's been someone that I was very excited with him on Godzilla. I thought he was a great fit for Rogue One, and so if we attack some of the criticism that's already coming out of Rogue One, where it kind of starts and feels a little bit less like a Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they're setting up is that they want Star Wars movies outside episodes.
Right. Well, that one of the reviews I read for it said like it doesn't have it, but they like that it doesn't have it because it throws you right into the action and you just hit the ground running and you don't stop. And they like the idea of the scroll just being saga related films to fill in the gaps between each episode, if we will.
I really think if you go through like episodic entertainment, you always have to have comic books in the conversation. Marvel and DC both went through eras of having some type of a narration or like a speed up paragraph or two that led you into that issue.
Okay. Right at the beginning. This is where we are. This would happen last issue.
Right.
They still have them occasionally.
Yeah, and before that, you would get like an asterisk, and an asterisk would be like, "Hey,
see issue 52."
Yeah, or even reference another title, an annual, something else.
Right. One of my Doctor Strange books has that throughout.
And that's the best. Like those were like probably the first Easter eggs. Yeah, they weren't really Easter eggs, but they were something for you to dig, and they led to you discovering something. So I think what they're doing with Rogue One that some people seem to be missing already is they want to do Star Wars movies that are unrelated to episodes.
Right.
So we already have a Han Solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the proposed ones? Yoda and Boba Fett?
Yoda, Boba Fett. I mean, there's everybody's wish list, but those are the main ones I've heard talked about.
I think we're a few years away, but they're laying the groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
Is to have a Star Wars movie that's unrelated to anything episode.
Right.
Meaning that this is like the first standalone Star Wars universe movie that doesn't directly connect to an episode. So no character connects to an episode, none of it.
Right.
Okay, or like the focus of the movie is not like episode related. Meaning you can have a Boba Fett movie and Boba Fett's only relation is that he appeared in 2 of the episodes, but this adventure is not episode related.
Well, one of the ones I hope they do, and it was on somebody else's wish list, but I'm sure everybody wants it. It's like the Shadow of the Empire story.
Yeah.
Since they're doing this one to kind of bridge the gap going in, because I've heard that it, like, one of the reviews I read said this makes A New Hope a greater movie than it, like, it makes it 10 times better. And then another review that I read says it kind of tarnishes that.
Yeah. I see. That's, I think we already know what they're going to address, right?
Right.
They're going to address the weakness of the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to address how easily perhaps they were able to decipher the blueprint and be like, this is where we attack. And possibly this is what I hope, and this is just wishful thinking. I hope they address that the Empire has like a militarized strategy for Death Stars. That they are making multiple Death Stars at one time. They're planning multiple Death Stars, and they have this Star Killer idea in the works also.
I can see that.
It kind of sets it up to where they're rolling these things out like battleships, and the rebels are just, oh my god, like we can't keep up with these guys. You know, every time we blow one up, there's 2 more coming. There's 3 more coming. I really would like that point. I would like that more than Luke hitting the weakness and blowing it up.
Right.
Because we accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like, I don't really, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's not going to be there.
Yeah, okay.
Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, one of the theories is that the engineer guy builds that in.
Right, because he's forced into...
Yeah, and he's maybe a rebel spy the whole time, or a part of it. You know, that's why they get
Well,
her.
I mean, it's very evident that... I mean, from the trailer, you know, her mom's not around, so it could be assumed... I haven't read anything to spoil, but it could be assumed that maybe the Empire kills her and takes the dad and forces him into it, so he just kind of screws them a little bit.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm just excited.
I hope the format that they go with for the spin-offs is like tie-in, like Rogue One, to where it's not directly connected, character-driven story. Tie-in, which could, because there's plenty of hit, like, isn't it like 6 or 7 years between 5 and 6?
Well, 5 and 6, I think each one is 10 years. 4, 5, and 6 are 10 years apart.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, and then we have a 20-year gap, and then like a 30-year gap.
Right.
It's 20 between 3 and 4, and 30 between 6 and 7.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Like, I think we're going to have an age of Star Wars anthology movies similar to what they were doing with the novels.
I could see that.
Where they were just sitting down creating brand new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the comic books. I mean, I feel like if they did a bridge between Empire and Return, that would be, it would be great, but there would have to be a story. Because what would they want to explain? They would want to explain where the disguises came from.
Well, no. At that point, it would be like like with the wish list which was you adapt the game Shadows of the Empire, so you follow Dash Rendar trying to locate Han on his own.
Yeah.
And then you have maybe Vader and Prince Zixor arguing about Luke's fate and what's to become of him, if they want to kill him or...
I really do feel that is dead. I just feel like when they decided to go into this direction, they collectively said, "Look, like we're going to do extended universe like things, but we're just going to do them for the movies, and we're going to make them new." And I do feel like that was the intelligent decision because, people, it's something that once existed and it doesn't have to continue.
Right.
I think a part of issues that people have with some of the comic book movies is that the source material is upon, like, it's almost like they're constructing buildings on top of rubble of other buildings when it goes through some of these timelines. Like they're tearing it down, rebuilding it, tearing it down, rebuilding it.
Right.
They do a movie, they pick some of the good ideas from 50 years of continuity, and then people are like, you can do this, you can do that, what about this, what about that, you got this right, you got this wrong, and holy crap.
Yeah.
Like now, like I really feel like if they did an adaptation of Shadows, the high horse people would just come out and start tearing into it.
Well, I mean, they run the same risk of doing I never played the games, Knights of the Old Republic movie, but everyone wants one so darn bad.
Yeah. See, I would like to see them really do something that went back like 1,000 years or whatever the timeline is, that really went back to a different age of the Jedi and the Sith.
Right.
I think we will see something like that.
Exactly. That's what gives me hope for some of the other stuff. I know I'm never going to get to see the Dark Empire trilogy or with all the clone Lukes and all that. And that's a little ridiculous anyway. But they set it up too with the clone troopers.
Dark Empire is and the Timothy Zahn trilogy of novels. The two of them are so freaking cool, so good.
Oh yeah, I have the hardback for Dark Empire trilogy,
and Dark Empire is just awesome.
It is.
Like and I'm happy if it's just there. Like it's like a what if sequel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You can't, because Luke's too old, and
but at one time that was the only sequel.
Right. That's where it went, and then you had the Crimson Empire after that. And
and Crimson Empire is a little. You're like even by that point, they were losing it at Crimson Empire.
Oh, I believe it.
They introduced the Skittle Crimson Guards. Like they weren't just red; they were like yellow ones and blue ones, and it's just kind of like, oh man, like okay, like great idea, great premise to kind of give those guys like a backstory and a history and almost like a pedigree.
Right.
Like they were almost like like Navy SEAL type elite soldiers, but at the same time, it's like okay, but that went on for 20 years, and that's what I mean. Like these timelines just keep going and going, and that's really where. I think that's where people just get overwhelmed and they get annoyed and they just want to be entertained, and it's good to have continuity to a stretch. Like we will see a reboot of the Marvel movies, like the Marvel film universe. We will see that rebooted.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We will see probably a DC multiverse movie. Because I think that's the only direction the DC...
That would be great.
Yeah. I think it's really the only direction that they can go. I think it's the only idea that's exciting.
I've been trying to sell Kearns on that forever. He just won't accept. I'm like, come on, man. Michael Keaton and Christian Bale in the same movie.
I really think, even get George Clooney in there.
Yeah, all of them. And then you could kill half of them off and make the fans even happier.
Yeah.
Kill off George Clooney's back. He would come back for that, I'm sure.
How great would that be if that movie opened with the death of the George Clooney Batman and the Chris O'Donnell Robin?
Yeah, right.
Just like getting your spines ripped
Not even take out Burt Ward.
But I do think I do think there's like a yearning for it, for deeper Star Wars stories. I think there's a yearning for more of that dirtiness, and I think what a lot of what we saw with Episode 7, with Force Awakens, was that they brought in some of these tastemakers like Kevin Smith,
right,
for example, who did a huge set visit and they were very animated about him not talking about it, and they wanted to control how he said things, but they kind of put him in on the set and set him loose to a degree to validate that the film was dirty, that the film looked like the original three.
Right, you need space dust.
Yeah.
1 through 3 doesn't have space dust. There's no grime or grit.
Yeah.
It's all too shiny.
So,
it's too new.
And for this movie, for Rogue One, they really didn't have that type of push, because I really feel like they knew what type of advertising would sell the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what imagery would like push it, which is the Death Troopers and just pushing the Imperial side of the movie. But I do feel like this movie is something different than what we're being told. I feel like because they didn't make a push to validate the movie.
Right.
They kind of always said, look, here's everyone in the movie. We're going to put them together. Here's a picture. I think the one photo of everyone kind of like in their setting was for Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Vanity Fair has a history of that now, going back to Phantom Menace. I think they've done like one big cast on-set photo with everyone in character since episode 1.
Okay.
So there's like a relationship there. So, but this movie, like, it's still a mystery. You really don't know where it's going.
Right.
You just kind of understand the premise
a
little bit. Most people do not going into the movie.
Right.
So I think that's a big thing.
For all we know, this could turn into one big tie-in to Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, to bring them live action. Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful. But for all we know, for lack of direction's sake of where we know it's headed, it could go that way.
I'm a little bit proven wrong, because I was not anticipating, and I kind of downplayed what they were doing with Rebels and the live action. Like there seems like they are bridging it, what's his name, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, I said that. Saw Gerrera was in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so like
going back to that, Wedge Antilles popped up on the show.
Yeah, they're making the effort. They want that connection.
Darth Maul's back currently.
Yes,
he's hunting down Obi-Wan.
Very nice. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I'm excited for the movie.
Have you been watching that?
No, I haven't seen any of it.
You want me to bring you season 1 DVD?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars I didn't watch either. There's a lot there, but Rebels you could still get caught up on.
The latest one was the cell animated Clone Wars. That was directed by Greg. I always mispronounce it. Tadowski.
The Adult Swim ones that were like 11 minutes long.
Yeah, they're awesome, dude.
I have both volumes. They are. I love the Kit Fisto underwater battle. Yeah. That's my favorite.
Oh no, the Anakin and that chick one where they're fighting.
Aja Ventress.
Yeah, dude.
I can never say her name.
Yeah.
Aja.
I don't even know that girl's name.
Abba.
That fight was intense.
Dooku's secret apprentice that never popped up in the live action.
I know, it's so bad. But
I really wish they would have just worked together. Someone pick up a phone at Lucas, please. Yeah. Hey, what are you guys doing in the anime? You got that? Let me take a look. Because I mean the one Jedi with the flowing green, like the slave from Jabba's. She's got the 2 hair pieces. I get like George Lucas decided to throw her in Revenge of the Sith based off a comic book cover that he saw. Yeah, I'm sure if he would have saw Ventress, Dooku would have had his apprentice.
Yeah, it's like I think it's still Lucas has maintained gatekeeper, and he stuck to his guns on that, and that's why by the time when we talked about this before, episodes 1, 2, and 3 emerged, and you saw how none of that extra stuff worked in. Again, I think for the core, which later ripped down Lucas, felt betrayed. Like he kind of reaped what he sowed. Yeah, and it's just unfortunate because he actually like did the right thing. There was someone appointed. There was like 2 or 3 guys appointed in Lucasfilm to keep track of Star Wars canon. Like it was their full time job
Oh, I believe it.
to
That would be
document
the
it.
greatest job
Yeah,
ever.
to anything that came along your desk, like you would have to, like they would send things to you to verify. Like, hey, like we're going to use Chewbacca in this book, and then he would be like, well, Chewbacca's doing this right now, so
Yeah,
you like,
he's on Endor. He can't be there.
yeah, you can't
Sorry.
do this, you can't
It's
do that.
29 BBY.
Yeah. So real quick though, like I just wanted to get to something that I did that I wanted to run by you.
Okay.
Which is I kind of today I scoured a couple articles on the interwebers and intrawebs and intraweb.
Surfing the old wires.
Yeah, and I was just looking up Star Wars facts. So I cherry picked some facts out of a couple articles, and I wanted to see how, like, if you knew about some of this stuff.
I'm gonna grab the beers out of the freezer before they pop.
Oh, grab
Do
the
you
beers
want
out
one?
of the freezer. Yeah, give me one.
All right.
Yeah, get
You
those.
want a
Yeah.
boardwalk or a?
No,
a
I
Lion's
think
Head?
we only have Lion's Head in the freezer. Yeah. Just give me a Lion's Head. I'm almost done with the boardwalk. And don't forget too, we have Mutant Super Soda.
I might save that for the next recording.
You gonna save that? Okay, we're gonna save these for the next recording.
Just because I gotta go to bed.
You have to go to bed because these are made by Monster. Look, they have. I can't wait to drink this. I can't believe that there's a product called Super Soda, and dude, it has 70 grams, 70 G's of sugar per container.
Yeah, I grabbed a little Red Bull on my way because
Oh, did you?
it's been a rough week with finals and work.
Yeah,
so,
I know you've been busy. It's always a struggle for both of us to do this. But
this will keep me up all night. Oh,
Yeah.
we have Red Dawn, and we have this one
Oh.
doesn't have a name.
wait, the red one's called Red Dawn.
Refreshment Energizer, I guess. It says Red Dawn on the side.
It does.
This
So
one doesn't have anything. Just 20 fluid ounces.
Wow, the green one's just green.
Hulk.
Yes, I can't wait to drink these. Well, cheers to Star Wars. So, I'm just going to run some of these facts by you, and I'm going to cite the articles so people can just look them up. These are some of the ones off of Mashable. Yoda was almost played by a monkey.
I did not know that.
Okay, they essentially were going to. Lucas originally planned for Yoda to be played by a adorable monkey wearing a mask and carrying a cane.
Righto.
Like,
I was unaware.
like, what the heck?
I know Deep Roy was a stand-in
Okay.
for Yoda.
How about this one? Ewok was never spoken in the original trilogy.
Makes sense.
They never addressed those creatures, those teddy bears as Ewoks.
No. See,
Yeah.
3PO says they're some
Yeah.
form of savage.
Although the species is identified in a script and closing credits. Okay.
Righto.
Turning the page. Yoda has a first name.
I was unaware. I thought it was Yoda.
Minch Yoda. Minich. M-I-N-C-H.
Okay, where's that one coming from?
That they later decided to strictly call him Yoda. Although episode 4 and 5 were big hits, the studio refused to sign Return of the Jedi until Lucas drew out a merchandising map, like plan of action, that included more toy-friendly characters than the Empire did.
Well, what's
Or Empire of the Empire Strikes Back.
Well, what's crap about that is he had the merchandising rights, didn't he? So they
Yeah.
wouldn't see a.
Well, a lot of this stuff is partnerships. You know, people may not want to do business regardless of what you can do. You need partners. You need a manufacturing arm and a distribution arm for the action figures. So this is another theory to where the Ewoks came from.
Okay.
Ewoks were strictly for manufacturing toys. And let me turn the page here. Okay, here we go. We have the Bounty Hunter Bosk. You know Bosk?
I do.
Okay.
He's going to be at the Great Philadelphia Comic Con in April.
His clothing, his spacesuit, is recycled from Doctor Who. The Doctor Who character wore the exact same suit.
Very
So
nice.
they just took it off the rack and gave it to him.
You know why Dengar wraps his face?
No.
Han Solo melted it off in a speed bike race.
Oh, jeez.
He hit a ramp and landed in front of him. It turned on the thrusters, and he hit him in the face. And apparently they're, like, related somehow, too, like through marriage or something like that.
This is what I'm talking about. Real quick, do you know that they did a story of R5-D5, which is the one droid that kind of pops, that explodes in episode 4?
Okay.
And they were like, and then they're like, take this one, and they take R2.
Right, he's like red and silver, right?
Yeah. Well, he's almost like orange and white, and he has like the bucket head, not the dome head.
Yeah, he's got the
R5-D5.
Okay.
There's a like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it just getting, like, they take it too far. That's why I like that they were like, we don't want this junk when Disney bought them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story where R5-D5 goes off on his own. Like, they tell you what happened after that moment when they're like,
oh, so he gets fixed.
Well, he just, it's either like he gets fixed or he just keeps going, and the job was let him go because they think okay. But essentially, the story reveals that R5-D5 is a droid that can use the Force.
Oh, okay. Oh,
an astro droid that can a service droid.
I'm calling shenanigans.
But that's what they do. Like, like these. That's where it just gets stupid.
That's where those guys whose job it is to keep canon need to step in and say, nay.
But that's the thing. It's almost like
file this under a what if.
Yeah, but it's like that's where there's always a problem. There's always a problem. Like it can never be kept small. It can never be kept intimate.
Right.
It just and this love of explaining everything. That's now even Rogue One is victim of explaining everything. Like, it's almost like I feel like we've had a generation of where that killed everything. Killed Boba Fett, killed Wolverine, killed Darth Vader. The list goes on and on.
Oh yeah, we should knowing that he's a clone and then putting in Django's voice in the just leave the movies alone, George.
So let me get to one of these real quick. Mark Hamill was in a car accident before episode 5.
That's why the Wampa attack happened. Correct. To account for the scars on the face.
Good one.
Just like the Indiana Jones crack in the whip in The Last Crusade is to explain that Harrison Ford, I think it was a sledding accident he had where he busted his chin.
He's
like he was a kid or something. I think I read.
Mm-hmm. That's good. All right. Producers of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan changed their title. The original title was Revenge of Khan to avoid confusion between the two movies.
Righto.
Okay.
Did you see the director's cut for that?
Nah, I really don't want to.
Okay.
I
didn't know if it was worth checking out.
I don't know. I just I don't care about that. I don't care about the Donner cut for Superman 2. I like those two movies, and I'm okay with it.
Fair enough. I own both Supermen. I made it a point to buy the Donner cut and the standard because I still like the standard. I enjoy the campiness of it.
I mean, the guy getting blown back on his roller skates.
Oh, if the DC did the crossover, they could bring in the Smallville Superman. God, my mind's just racing with that.
While filming Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, the code name for the project was Blue Harvest,
which ended up being the Family Guy title for A New Hope's parody episode.
The film's tagline was Horror Beyond Imagination.
Ah, okay.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was labeled the Dollhouse when it shipped to theaters to kind of try and
keep people from stealing the prints.
Hide the piracy.
Because didn't someone steal a print of Phantom Menace?
I'm not familiar, perhaps.
I think someone... That one someone got away with.
All right, so check this out. Ready? This is the big one. Tupac Shakur auditioned for Mace Windu.
I feel like I heard that.
Now, how much better of a movie would that have been if Tupac was a Jedi?
I might be getting my years mixed up here, but like how... 99 was when Phantom Menace came out, right?
Yeah.
And when did Tupac get...
Yeah, but maybe...
I feel like he was shot in 93.
Yeah, I didn't verify when he was killed or murdered.
Right.
Didn't verify, but...
I definitely heard that.
I mean, it could be... He could audition for the movie in 95, 96. spent 3 years making the movie, right? I mean, it could be
Right. I mean, George could have had him audition in 1990 when he had the idea,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of sat on his shelf for a couple years.
Yeah. Every Star Wars film has been released a week after George Lucas's birthday, May 14th.
Wow. Except for
Yeah.
that fact has changed,
Yeah.
everybody. It's now December since no one else puts movies out that month.
This is some of the ones from the knowable article. Before being rewritten as comic relief. Ready? Jar Jar was a mercenary who ultimately betrays Qui-Gon Jinn. You're like, what? Wouldn't that have been?
I kind of wish that Sith thing came true. That would have been...
Yeah.
That would have been nice. Just to validate everybody's hate of him. He pulled the strings.
Return of the Jedi had a very different ending. One of the original ideas for the ending was Vader dies. Luke, I love you. Luke takes the helmet, puts it on, and says, "Now I am Darth Vader." And does it turn to the dark side. The sound of the TIE Fighter engine is actually an elephant. I left that one in there because that's like one of my favorite sounds.
It is.
I came in there. I suck. Okay. How about this one? Jabba the Hutt was meant to be furry.
No, I didn't know that one.
Originally, Jabba the Hutt was not conceived to be a grimy slug, but a fuzzy creature.
I saw the original footage where they had a fat guy stand in A New Hope, and that's how they got away with re-editing that scene.
Which I think that is one of the better additions to the special edition.
I can see that.
I think that scene really helps.
Speaking of, I actually watched the two things. One of them was last week. One of them was the night before I came. The one I watched before I came tonight was in defense of Return of the Revenge of the Sith, and they had like 130 wins for the movie, from like how the lighting and shadows on Yoda being CGI are very effective to like they can really act in this scene. So they really picked apart like what's good about the movie.
I think there's a resurgence coming from kids that loved Episode 1.
Right. I grew up on it. I was young enough that I didn't hate it. It was Star Wars to me.
And they won a battle to validate it.
Right. I was 9 when that came out, everybody.
I think that's a coming war. Validation for Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are coming.
Right.
Let the memes roll. I think this is when we both knew Han Solo was supposed to die. He wanted to die in Empire, wanted to die in Jedi.
Right.
Well, he got his wish.
Yeah, amen to that.
Got his wish. And so that's it. So that's everything.
Almost really died on set.
Yeah, he did. Yes. So that's everything. So, faith. Moving forward though, I'm going through my pages here. I guess one of the hot topics now, there seems to be a lot of traffic on, is the special editions.
Right.
Where are you with the special editions? And
that was the other video I watched. It was 5 or 10 special edition changes that George Lucas made that were for the better. Okay. And one of them was like the original Emperor crap CGI versus adding in.
They added the Emperor. They redid the voices, the sound for stormtroopers to match. They redid Boba Fett. Okay.
I think he even in one of the editing changes, he adds a grunt to the stormtrooper who hits his head on the door.
Okay.
For like a little because like
there's some dialogue switches too.
Right.
In New Hope. New Hope is the one that got the bulk of the special edition.
New Hope and Returns, I feel like.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi really kind of got.
It's almost like the end of Return.
Right.
The beginning of New Hope.
Right.
Really got a bulk of it all. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, I don't fucking like. I really don't care. I think it doesn't really change the movies at all. and I don't know what the dedication is with preserving something that is not yours. It's not
I
yours,
well, yeah, it's not.
right?
It's
It's like
yeah,
I can't act butthurt that he, uh, like what was he doing? He adds Luke screaming on the way down and on Bespin,
right.
like
He,
like
he adds
ah,
the vagina clamps to the old
yeah.
Sarlacc pit,
It's okay. I mean, like okay, like it's
which is one of the few that see. All right, when it comes to the many edited cuts, if I had a choice, which they're astronomically expensive now, I would take the theatricals on DVD from the 2 disc Walmart exclusives.
yeah. How
But
much are these, by the way?
they vary. You can find them used for like 15, 16. But if you want it new off of Amazon, it's like a $97 to
Yeah,
$138 DVD.
yeah, yeah. But it's
Movie
the
Stop used to get them for $10, and I
yeah.
was like,
But
eh.
it's almost like
Now they're out of business. So
yeah. But it's almost like the their DVDs. So what does it matter if they're used or
pretty
if
much,
they're
as long as it plays.
if they're unscratched
Uh huh.
used? It's no different than unscratched new.
Exactly. I
So
just whatever. I
yeah.
don't have to throw out the
Well,
plastic. Thanks.
it's just a little bit of that inflated market.
But when it comes to
you know.
the edits, I feel like they really went overboard with the Blu-rays because they added the Ewoks blinking and like they. If
Yeah.
I had to pick the initial special edition VHSs, that 3-pack that came out that they re-released initially when the technology finally caught up,
Yeah.
I feel like that's where he should have left it with
Yeah.
playing with it because
See,
you still have like stormtroopers aren't all.
yeah.
Boba Fett's not the clone. The more he made, the more he had to go back
Yeah.
and.
Well, but guess what though? Like that's the product shifted.
Right.
Like it was that I think that was going to happen anyway. I don't think there was. I think that was. I believe it or not, I'm behind that being a little bit of a genius stroke from George Lucas because as a part of the frenzy like involved with Star Wars as a fan, like the fun, the hyperboil, the angst, the frustration, the love, the hate, like all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If George Lucas said, "Hey, when I made 1, 2, and 3, I kind of thought about 4, 5, and 6, and I had this meeting, and we were talking with our special effects guys, and we were kind of talking about what is possible, and we were discussing." Like maybe we could add things to make more of a connective tissue and the membrane throughout all 6. But I decided not to do it. People would be like, yo, like you're crazy. You have to do it. You have to make this tighter. You just have to do it.
Yep.
And like I think he would have won either way.
Well, yeah. He had it in his I have creative control. This is mine. But you distribute it. I own it.
He would have won either way, and he would have lost either way. There was no right call once it came out that was a part of a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, why wouldn't you want to fix the beginning of New Hope? What, like, why would like we would want to see more of this. We would want to see more of that. And people are like, well, there's these other pieces of work that were never touched. That's always like the balance. But I will tell you one thing, and I spent a lot of time reading about I have like a stack of books on Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
Read a lot on Michelangelo, who were like in my early 20s. I read a lot of Mozart, a lot of Michelangelo. If you could take Michelangelo and go make him a little bit younger, like just like de-age him a little bit, and said, look, would you like to fix the Sistine Chapel? Because in his eyes there was a lot of problems. He would be like, oh yes. If you took Mozart and you said, hey, what about the magic flute? He would be like, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't care. I think these guys, they grow, they get more skills, and they would love to apply him to previous work.
I believe it.
Yeah,
All right, if
yeah.
he wanted to mess with A New Hope, just say, right? You want to add dialogue, what have you? Why don't you go back and have Obi-Wan say, "My master was Qui-Gon"?
Yeah,
like it's those inconsistencies that give me the biggest. Like you did these three. You said that's his master, so why not make Yoda Obi-Wan's master? Like you add this guy that died, and you don't.
Because I think a little bit of that is the balance. It really is of saying I can add, like, it's almost a lot of the additions are on top of what's there, or they're extensions of shots.
Right.
Okay, meaning that we can add something in between, like these two shots, and we can draw out the music, and it looks seamless.
Right.
So I think he was very much aware of what that line was.
Mm-hmm. He does it a lot in the asteroid chase in Empire.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
but they're still. They still left errors of some of the special effects in there too.
Oh yeah,
they went through it. They made decisions, and I really do think what people are the most butthurt about is the end of Return of the Jedi.
You know, well, yeah, that one even kills me because that growing up. Again, I grew up on it. Yeah. They were all out before I was born. Like the teddy bear party was to a 5-year-old the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
one of the things I wish he left though, and I guess it bothers some people. It never bothered me, and I found out why it happened in A New Hope when Obi-Wan and Vader are doing their battle.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan's lightsaber kind of gets shorter and flickers and gets thinner.
Yes.
They didn't have the budget to animate it.
Yes.
I always thought the lightsabers actually had a control as to how long they could get.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was him kind of control. Like I don't need it. I don't need it. Funny. I'm better than you. And then I really wish they would have left that initially in there instead of going back and touching that one up.
There's if Star Wars wasn't what it is, if it really wasn't magnified into its own creature.
I mean, just imagine 1977 Independence Day comes out and Star Wars came out in 96.
But
it would be held to the same standard. If they did everything for Independence Day that they did for Star Wars, that would be the franchise. Look at what they did. They paved the way for all of this stuff.
But speaking of that, like would people flip out if they did that to Independence Day? They say, look, like we went in and we wanted to connect a couple things from Resurgence to the original, and we saw a couple of opportunities, and we're just going to add these new special effects to like a DVD release. Yeah, like people just like, great, like you like it or you don't, and you can watch either, like whatever.
Right.
Okay. For some reasons, like the Star Wars audience, they feel like they have an ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I'll put it to you this way.
I just think that's so bizarre.
I saw a book pop up on my Facebook feed, and I forget the title, but speaking from verbatim, it was pretty much a book on the Jedi religion and how to live your life that way. Like, straight up, like, there's no Independence Day Bible for being Stephen Hiller.
Right.
Like
there should be though.
I'm not denying. He was one smooth mother.
And you address him as Captain Stephen Hiller.
Hey, he's dead. It don't matter.
He is. If they gotta change that.
Hey man,
I don't know why.
That was such a B move. I gotta say it. That was such a bitch move. I hate that they couldn't just say, "All right, Will. We'll make it work around Suicide Squad."
I think he wasn't allowing them to do it. Like he put the kibosh on it for some reason.
But then he was the one who spoke. Like I remember him saying, "Like I really wish they hadn't killed my character." Like he was butthurt about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, hey, like
that would be like Bill Murray refusing. Sorry to go back to Ghostbusters, but refusing to come back and then getting mad when they killed him off.
But here's the thing, though. People know Bill Murray was in Ghost. It's the same discussion. Bill Murray is that franchise,
right? to me, Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum as a team.
But the thing is, though, Will Smith has lost relevance as time has marched on.
Well,
he has not opened a movie that anyone cared about in a very, very long time.
This is true.
Okay.
The same could be said for everyone from Independence Day.
True. But the thing is, though, there's a Jeff Goldblum has...
He does commercials now. He does TV.
He's maintained relevance, and it doesn't matter...
Well, he's stayed in the eye. I feel like Will Smith just... He does a popular action movie for the money. He does his artsy movie that 9 out of 10 fall off of the radar.
I always think when he has one coming out that has a ridiculous title.
Right.
It's like the Collateral Love. I think it's called Collateral Love.
Okay.
That's the name of the movie.
Ugh.
Okay. And he did that like 7 Pounds movie.
Right.
And what
there's Concussion.
I think he's pursuing The Pursuit of Happiness, of what that movie was, which is Pursuit of Happiness is an incredible movie. Oh, yeah. Incredible. Mm-hmm. And he's also pursuing Hitch.
Right.
And it's almost like the Schwarzenegger effect, where he was lucky enough, young enough to be in like these cultural movies.
Right.
And he has a refusal to go back to them, even though Schwarzenegger has done the opposite. He has embraced those movies.
I have to. I'm sorry.
Well, do you have to take a break?
No.
Yes.
I mean, hey, I took the work to do it.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, I mean, look, Will Smith needed to speedline or to expedite Bad Boys 3.
Right.
Which I think maybe they're making 3 and 4. They announced. Which
really?
Is with Joe Callahan, the guy that directed The Grey and the 18 movie.
Okay.
Who actually I feel like is a guy that should be doing more Hollywood movies, because he is awesome. He's like a freaking fire plug. The 18
was definitely
like, he's super smart. I love his interviews. And people want more Bad Boys with Will Smith. They want more Independence Day with Will Smith. They want more Men in Black with Will Smith, and he was even weird about Men in Black 3.
Right.
So it's self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
He's tried to jumpstart franchises. Now there's talk of a Deadshot spinoff.
I saw that.
I don't know what they're doing.
Suicide Squad 2's in development. We have Gotham City Vixens on the way.
Like what?
I saw Megan Fox is apparently rumored to be Poison Ivy, and it's pretty much confirmed that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are going to be dating in this one. Yeah, she's forgone the Joker.
Yeah.
Which, when I heard they were doing a Harley Quinn movie, I, for one, expected Harley and the Joker running amok in Gotham. And now I'm kind of sad, because it's not that I'm sad it's an all-female led movie. I just want more Jared Leto. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's so weird what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. They don't know.
They wedged.
Excuse me.
They wedged the Batman between Justice League now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's that? I don't know what they're doing.
I hope the Batman opens up with 12 years before the Justice League. Because they have to do something. What is going? Now I'm frustrated. All right, back to Star Wars, because now my brain hurts.
It's literally the Batman extended film universe.
Yeah, it's just DC crapped the bed because Marvel made it so well. That's
So and then I guess one of the things I wanted to go through with you real quick, which is how much of the original extended Star Wars universe have you delved into? Books, games, novels, essentially.
I would say a decent amount. A lot of it's Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
But I mean, like I said, Dark Empire trilogy, I had to track down. Luckily, I found it in a lull between being like a $70 book and now being, it's astronomical because it's totally out of print.
Yeah.
I like the Star Wars Infinities, those alternate.
Yes.
Han Solo's blind, Vader goes white Vader. That's cool.
Yeah, the white Vader's always great.
The Star Wars was really good.
That was
the trade paperback from the original screenplay.
Yes.
Dude, he literally has all 3 movies in that one.
Yeah.
Like, you see it go from A New Hope literally to Return of the Jedi with like a second Death Star exploding all in the same movie.
That's awesome.
Like, it really went full circle.
That's the last one I was really curious about.
That one's good, dude.
Yeah.
It was totally worth checking out.
So, for me I was in high school when Shadows of the Empire. Oh, we're going to take a quick pause. We're going to jump right back into it. Actually, I think we both have to take a bathroom break.
And we're back. Very cool.
Yeah, we just had to, drinking beers, talking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Makes you go to the bathroom.
It happens.
We previously, before we started today, we were like, let's do less bathroom breaks.
Which works, because we only took one tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of creates havoc when I'm in post, going through the timeline, and I have different tracks to deal with, to add, to fix anything that might be wrong. But,
right.
So, for me, the extended universe really started with Shadows of the Empire. Okay. During the gap of no Star Wars, leading into the special editions. So, there was a time there was no Star Wars anything. And at this point, I was going through high school, and I was okay with, Star Wars wasn't anything. Mm-hmm. It was just like a movie that was like fading away, and it was great to watch every once in a while. And always being interested in some of that stuff. Yeah, it was like something that you told your friends about. And I remember this has become like somewhat of a reoccurring theme in my life. Watching Star Wars with girls for the first time. So this girl I was involved with in high school had a boyfriend, older kid. He was like 2 or 3 years older than us. He was like in his like kind of like early 20s. I was like, kind of had her as a girlfriend. Like, he had no clue. It's like a whole big thing. But she would come over and we would watch the Star Wars movies. And I always remember telling her that the Ewoks made a DeLuca sound. Okay? And if you watch it, they make the DeLuca. So in my yearbook, she like referenced that. She was like, "Oh, it was so much fun watching like the Ewoks with you and the Star Wars." Because I think right before graduation, we got to Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So during all of this, the only new Star Wars was Shadows of the Empire, and Shadows of the Empire was so unique because it was this like concentrate. It was like this like focused effort.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "We're going to do a comic book." Right. We're going to do the novel,
mm-hmm.
and the video game's going to tie in. Everything's going to tie in, and we're going to have a toy line with new stuff.
Yep.
And the special editions included some of Shadow in episode 4.
I know Dash Rendar's ship pops up in 5. I want to say when they're...
Yeah, there's also... I'm not sure if it's still in it, but there was a character called Swoops who rode like a speeder bike. His name was like Swooper Swoops.
Okay.
And you see him, and he kind of like comes in off frame and goes underneath one of those giant Jawa walking lizard things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
okay.
Those,
yep. He's still there.
Ones.
He's still there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was a guy that essentially was in the book and in the action figure line.
Okay.
So you kind of had that. You had Kenner bringing back the toy line. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an experiment to like remember this. That was buddied with a molding re-release of the originals that KB I think had as exclusives, and like that was it. And one of the cooler things with Shadows of the Empire, they had this making of book that went through, like it was a DVD extra. It went through the entire process of creating Shadows of the Empire. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. And that was it. And then you had Dark Empire.
Right.
You had the Zone trilogy. And for me, like, that was it. And the special editions roll around. They repackaged the product.
Mm-hmm.
Artfully, masterfully. Like, my family went to go see all 3 of them. Like,
so,
we all went together. It was like a thing.
Yep.
Amazing.
Mom took me to all 3 when they were coming out.
And at that point, that's where, like, it all went, like, buck wild.
Right.
just too much.
Mhm.
Books all the time, killing Chewbacca in one of the books,
Right.
going all the way back, going all the way forward.
And it's so terrible how they kill. It's like a moon crashes into the planet he's on.
Yeah.
But he still saves the day. Like,
Yeah.
he dies here. There's no stopping a moon from crushing a planet.
Yeah. So, and it's there you go, nice. So, I really never got into any other books, any of the comic books, and I was just fine with it. I was fine with Star Wars just being this,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kept going.
Right. Well, I take and choose my expanded universe.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
I never had a high interest for it, even though I love like some of the video game intros. I love some of the design work, like what's his name, Darth Raven.
Okay. Yeah.
Like really cool looking dude, like really cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think a lot of the stuff that they knew worked and extended, they are pushing into what they're doing now because
Right.
they were like, hey, can we like Darth Raven and Kylo Ren kind of
Their masks are very similar.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I really even think like some of the designs.
I think cross-bladed lightsabers were even in Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. So exactly. So I mean, and I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
It's no different than how Marvel is mining their history for
Right.
the movies.
My biggest problem with Marvel mining is they have like 75 years of Cap, where Steve Rogers was Cap for probably 60 of them.
Yeah.
There's no need after 3 movies to kill off Steve Rogers and replace him. You have 75 years.
Well, but
Give me 7.5 sequels then replace him.
I will say this though. When it comes to Captain America's stories,
Yeah, I mean,
he's almost as bad as Superman.
Oh no, I don't. I mean,
Like,
they're all kind of
it's-
almost bad.
It's almost like the modern day Cap push is far better than the entire history of Cap.
I can see that.
Like,
I mean,
it's
but they're
almost like-
all kind of like that before you get to the modern. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times can Tony get sober and drunk?
Yeah.
How many times can Reed?
Iron Man really didn't have that many solo stories.
Oh yeah, none of them. If you
Iron
really look at overall, how many like run
Yeah.
and cancel, run
It's-
and renames to
Yeah.
try and get it going again, like
well, yeah, I'm even going back to when they had their runs with no cancellations.
okay.
There's very like so Tony like Iron Man.
Oh, yeah,
it was
he-
kind of like Demon.
He
in the
became
bottle.
the big guy after his first
Yeah,
movie.
and-
Before that, he was
Right.
That's why the '90s cartoon only had 1 season, whereas X-Men had 5.
Well, I think some of that too was also one was syndicated, one was network.
Okay.
Okay, and there might have been other like animation's really weird, especially in the 90s.
Oh,
because
yeah.
studios like would just shut down.
Oh yeah.
Like you know,
But I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Spider-Man and X-Men both had a very healthy run,
they did.
along with Batman, Batman Beyond, and
Yeah.
even Static Shock had a good 3 seasons. But
Yeah, I think-
Iron Man.
I think it's some of that, but I also Warner Brothers had a focused animation effort that they made a huge capital investment
Oh
to
yeah.
to regain,
Oh yeah.
and
Well, I mean, it doesn't help they base it around that first movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
the
it's-
theme music alone and the
Exactly,
Batmobile
yeah.
design. It's
well,
Tim
everything,
Burton's Batman
even
animated.
it being somewhat like 50s and somewhat modern day at the same time, like
Mhm.
like the way that the radio looks and the way that
But the
doors
gangsters are
Yeah.
Tommy
So-
gunned out. And
look. Yeah, so getting back to Star Wars,
Right.
So
we digress.
yeah, we well that's all stuff. We should maybe do that. I would love to discuss the 90s animation Marvel and the 90s animation DC
dude.
verse,
Yes.
like a versus. Okay,
Yes. Let's do it.
yeah, because I think there's a lot to be rediscovered.
Oh yeah.
Like
I need to finish X-Men Volume 4 and I
Okay.
need to buy X-Men Volume 5.
see,
But I got so into the cartoons that I was like, I
Well,
can't buy 5 before I just watch 4.
you know what my favorite is though, which is the shortest lived of all of them.
Silver Surfer.
Yes,
That was a guess.
yeah. No, that has.
There's a guy at the Bro and Mart who has the complete series.
Yeah, I
back.
used to have it. I think I might have given it to you. It might have been one of the bars.
I got the Fantastic Four.
Okay, It was somewhere for a while.
Transformers too.
Yeah,
but no.
But it's Silver Surfer and Silver Surfer like fading away, going away as quickly as it came. But those episodes and what they go into and just being like the cosmic side. Well, I think the cosmic Marvel is always the best side of Marvel.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do there.
Yeah, I just think it's so much more than like the Earth stuff.
Oh yeah,
like the
just
Silver Surfer
just
side.
look at Guardians.
Yeah,
it's
so. Where are you with Star Wars merchandise? Do you collect anything? Like, where are you with that?
My mom went extremely hard
Okay.
for me, especially in later years,
Mhm.
like after the prequels.
Yeah.
Before the prequels, I mean, shit, I can tell you everything I got. I got Luke's lightsaber, the extended, you
Okay.
flick it out and the light comes.
Oh, okay.
The original handled Luke's lightsaber. I had a couple of ships. My grandfather got me a bunch of old models. They're still in the boxes, like Millennium Falcon, the paint and put together Yoda and Luke in the Dagobah hut. I have that one.
Yeah.
A couple of the bigger, like the Force Unleashed Obi-Wan versus Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. But the main things that there were a couple play sets my mom got me, like Hoth and Battle Endor. But I have a full tote of, I mean, open, sorry for all of you guys, your heads are going to explode, but like I played with my toys when I got them, I was a kid. But like a full blue tote with the lid filled to the top, just all Star Wars, the Hasbro, Kenner, the 3-inch tall guys. So that's filled to the top of that tote. Okay. And then in a Star Wars lunchbox, I have every weapon and film cell that came with every figure.
Okay. Yeah.
So like all the ones that came with the film cells I have, all the ones that came with the talkie boxes I have, like all that still together. Well, if I ever wanted to sell the whole lot, I could put everyone's weapons in their hands.
Yeah.
And add all the bonus stuff back to them and just call it a loose lot.
Yeah.
That's
so. How about as an adult? Is there anything?
I've been. I mean, I get the Smuggler's Bounty.
Oh, do you?
I get that.
Sure. Okay, that comes with a pop.
That's
a pop.
Yeah.
So which ones have you gotten?
Well, they're all pretty much standard. You got Red Snaggletooth. I didn't get the variant for that one.
Variant's the blue.
Yeah, okay. He's blue and white. There's I just got Tarkin and Darth Vader. You got the Boba Fett.
It's like a 2-pack?
No. Okay. It's like Tarkin and Vader. That was the Death Star box.
Should have been a 2-pack.
You could probably pull these up. I know Hoth is coming with Han Solo on the Tauntaun, the first deluxe pop.
You know what? I did see a couple.
My favorite though is I have the Boba Fett, the only Star Wars figure not on a stand that says Star Wars. Oh. He's on his blaster pack because his jetpack's firing, so he's up in the air. That one's cool. That one's cool.
Very nice.
You get T-shirts with them, like my last one. The Death Star box came with a Death Star luggage logo that I'm going to take to Disney with me at the end of the month.
Nice.
So, but yeah, no, I just got a couple of the Rogue One figures.
Yeah.
I just got the 5-pack from the Force Unleashed. I only really try and stick with the 3x7.5 inches.
Yeah.
Because that's what I have the tote of.
So,
but I got the one with Maz, Finn,
yeah,
Rey, and BB-8. Kylo Ren, I tracked down when he was like $70 on Amazon. Walmart got a shipment. I was like, ooh.
Oh, nice.
And then I have a couple of the Rebels. I almost have the whole Rebels crew, if you will. I think I'm just missing the I forget her name, but she's the captain of the Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And then I've been starting to dabble in the Rogue One. Like I got the blind monk.
Yeah.
He's the first one I got from that. Yeah, and K2. I got K2 SL.
Yeah.
Because how can you not? Alan Tudyk's the best.
Yeah, he's already said to be
met him at Wizard World. He is a very cool guy. I got him to sign my Wreck-It Ralph poster for King Candy. Dude, he started quoting the movie and doing the voice. And oh, man, I love meeting those guys.
So, for me, it was, a little bit of my history, which is when I was younger, like coming through high school, graduating. Yeah, I was kind of like early, I was buying stuff from people that I know.
Right.
I would track it down, buy it, and huge vintage inventory. A lot of it I still have. I've sold chunks of it off. It's taken me years. So it's a lot of local vintage toy stores in New Jersey and Philly. Like kind of like stock chunks of their store through my collection, and I really don't care. Like now, I'll sell it to them for dealer rates.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever. So at that point, my last like collecting move for Star Wars was Episode 1 and Episode 2, because the hype was so there, and like just buy like a Darth Maul figure. I mean, we're tracking down the Yoda figures for the clone, the Attack of the Clone Yoda figure was huge. The Vader.
You know what I
Anakin
liked about
figures.
those ones? They were the first ones that implemented the
magnets,
the little metal
Right.
lightsaber and the magnetic hand, so that you could and get that thing on there.
Yeah. So like, and that's relatively it. But for me, it was really having like a huge run with the vintage and having I'm not joking. Like I even know until recently, and I sold them when I realized it. But I had like multiples of what they call like the last 17, the last 18, which were like the final Kenner original vintage ones. The last wave, which was like limited. Because like the orders just dried up and they put out what they could. And some of those ones I thought were crap. They were just like almost like common crap figures, like Pilot Lando, and I had multiples, and I was able to move them off of Facebook, like through some of the Facebook groups, like quickly, and people like throwing down $50, $60, $80, it was nothing just to get those figures. And I'm
I believe it.
And I'm just like, geez, there's like.
I was blessed enough to date a girl, and she told me, if you help me clean out my grandfather's basement, you can take whatever you want. And her grandfather was a collector. Needless to say, I have an original Kenner Cloud City Pilot. Granted, none of these guys are in good shape, and I don't have the weapons for them. They're secondhand. I have the original R2-D2 that just has the stickers around his body and like the shiny chrome head.
Cool.
And like an original Han Solo. All of them again beat up, but nonetheless like original older than I am toys from Star Wars.
No, and I think that's always been an overlap with Star Wars. Is really the merchandising.
When I was coming up, I can honestly say my Aunt Kathy bought me my original trilogy box set because my mom told her to go ahead, and she got me my special edition box set. She also got me hooked on the toys.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure the first ever Star Wars toy I got was the R2-D2 that fired Luke's lightsaber spring-loaded out of his head.
That was always
I still have that one. I still have it. She got me that. And then I ended up getting the rest of the main characters. I had the Emperor that shot the lightning bolts where it lit up out of his hands. Yeah. The one that I could never find, and I ended up getting them, obviously, but the one that I had Chewbacca on Hoth, where his fur is going from the snow and he's all painted white. And that was the only Chewbacca I could ever get, and I never found a Boba Fett. And I could not find just a regular old, needless to say now that there's like, I have 20 Chewbaccas, but like for the longest time, all I had was the Hoth, and it drove me nuts. And then I got the chain one from Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
And that drove me nuts. Like, I just want regular old.
Yeah.
And then I finally got him in a re-release. Same thing with Boba Fett. But for the longest time, those were the two, like, straight normal characters that were just impossible to find. Like, in the 90s and the early.
And I think that's always one of the hooks for Star Wars.
Like, now I can't find a Phasma to save my life. And if I do, she's $60, $70.
Is she really?
Yeah.
See, that is really what is, I think, always has held Star Wars up.
The big guy from Rogue One, he's got like the ponytail and the red kind of Mandalorian armor, but not really.
Yeah, it's one-sided armor, right?
Almost.
It's on his like right side or something.
Yeah, the only way you're getting that guy is in a 2-pack with a crap stormtrooper. Really? Like, he's not in a single figure anywhere. I found Jane Erso. I found the dude with the mustache who's kind of like her man, I guess.
Or
the Blind Jedi, the other Oriental gentleman, all of those guys. But no, that's the only way you're getting him and Saw Gerrera.
See, that guy.
I haven't seen Saw at all.
That guy
Forrest
is who
Whitaker.
they think is heavy. One of the Knights of Ren, they think that guy is heavy.
Okay.
Like I said, like the Rogue One crew like in theory matches up with the Knights of Ren,
right?
Which is amazing. But
we shall see.
So, do you have any final thoughts? Any?
It needs to be Friday, which is going to be rough. I have finals Monday. We're doing this tonight. It's going on almost 10 now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I come home from work. I change my pants. I change my shirt. I spray myself down with cologne because I don't have time. I have to get to Sayreville for the Struts concert.
Oh,
because Rachel got us.
Again.
Yeah, she got us tickets because I was so upset that the TLA sold out before I could get them. She was like, "They're $20 for Sayersville if you want to go." So we got those. So I have to get up there. Friday I'm seeing Rogue One at 7:30. You're seeing it at 8:30. So my next couple of days are booked, but it needs to be Friday because I'm getting more and more excited, but I'm getting more and more tired. From the raggedness. But I'm pumped.
Yeah, I just want to get through Friday because Friday for me is we're keeping our tradition with seeing the movies with family.
Okay.
So, I originally had I think 9 people set up to go. That list is fluctuating, so I'll have management things, people to check in on throughout the entire day. So I'm probably gonna leave the office like maybe at 3:00.
I might ask to take a half an hour lunch so I could leave at 4:30 instead of 5.
Yeah,
I want to get to Adelphia so I can have a couple of drinks beforehand.
Yeah. You can just walk to the theater from there, which is great. Yeah, and we're probably gonna do like a little bit of a family dinner to whoever can show up, and then I'll probably be drinking like before that, during that, after that, and then we're gonna hit Barcade right after the movie. I'm probably gonna crash. Yeah, so because after we record Saturday, it's all homework stuff till Monday. Between now and then, we're going to put this out. Oh, and by the way, like we're on. I guess we should open, but we really have a lot to learn. But we're on iTunes, we're on Google. Yes, we are. Subscribe. Hey, everyone wraps it up at the end. If you want a free prize, just comment below. But really, there's no free prize. We haven't got to that point yet. It's very critical for people to leave comments. Right. And to let us know if you like us. Let us know if you hate us. What you like, what you don't like. And we're using my social media accounts because there's a little bit behind each one. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just search for AKAPAD. Other known as Peter Anthony DeLuca. And you can reach out to us through that. Yes. And like that's really it. This can only get better with you guys. We need your help. So let us know what you love. Let us know what you hate. Things you want to talk about. We can always recast Peter. It's not a problem. It is really not a problem at all. He's gone. You said enough, guys. He's out. I might be behind that too. Get out. Yeah. But I'm really excited for this movie. No, this is good. I'm pumped. Yeah. Friday can't get here quick enough. I think some of this got me more excited. Oh, definitely. Because I kind of been the level I've been reminiscing really reminded me of like what some of my Star Wars roots were. Oh yeah. And 2 days ago they put out it was either Entertainment Weekly, one of those websites. And they had like 5 or 6 just aliens from the movie that were developed. Yeah. One of them looks like a cool Tusken Raider with a gas mask. One of them looks like it looks like Yoda. There's a toy of that guy. There's a toy had a baby. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, one of them looks like the we were talking about earlier, the Hoth snow monster that like he's got the gun and he's a little thinner, but like it's all I look at it and I'm like, and that's Star Wars. Just excited because I'm a nerd. Yeah. It's great. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be a really big night. Do we think there's gonna maybe be an end credit scene? I didn't read anything for if there is or isn't. I don't think there is. I hope not, because I don't want to stay. But I really think that the movie's like how it builds into like the last 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like it's going to be the most impactful ending of a Star Wars movie that we've seen
God willing.
ever, because it's hard to put Empire in context since we all know the reveal.
Right.
I think this will have something like that.
Fire round. What is your stance on Adam Driver's opinion on not having a trailer for 8?
Yeah, do it. You don't need one.
I agree.
You don't
You've
need
already
one.
got us hooked.
You
I don't
don't-
want to see a
you
thing
do
before
not
I go
need
in
one.
there. I hope they take his advice.
What's there was 2 possible title leaks also. For
I didn't
episode
click
8.
into them.
Yeah, one was possibly, I guess, one. I think one was Tales of the Jedi Temple, and one was
That sounds like a spin-off more than an
yeah,
episode 8.
and I forget the name, but the other one.
You know what that one incites in me? It incites Rey and Luke sitting around a campfire for 2.5 hours, telling stories, and then saying, "We'll be back in episode 9."
Yeah, yeah, and then the other one was First Order driven. I think it might have been like the First Order attacks or the First Order strikes.
The
or
Third
something
Reich has risen, and
yeah.
we're back.
And I don't really know. I mean, that's all people really care about. Like they
I think
really
it's too
don't.
early to tell.
People, do you think there'll be a trailer reveal for the title or something? You think there'll be a trailer surprise?
I think it'll leak before that, but I think it's too
Yeah.
early for them to leak now.
Right.
Because I think they don't even know yet. I
Yeah.
think they have the movie filmed, but at this point, the title has become almost synonymous with
Yeah.
where the story goes. That
I mean, like, where are you on with all the titles? You think that's what's the worst one? The Phantom Menace?
Attack of the Clones, because the clones aren't really attacking. It should be Attack of the Droids.
You've already.
It was the Clone
it should-
Wars.
it should be
episode 2, the Clone Wars.
It should
not Attack of the Clone.
Yeah,
They're not. What are they attacking?
I remember that everybody wanted the Clone Wars to be episode 2.
I believe it.
Like
It should have been the Clone Wars
It should have been.
instead
It
of.
really should have been episode 1.
It should have been.
You know?
Me and my boss have had this talk at work so much to where episode 2 should have been episode 1, but the entire thing,
Yeah.
because they already say your father was a great pilot when I met him.
Yeah.
They don't say he's 8 years old. There's no
not even that. He's 8 years old racing
yeah.
like cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like he's 8 years
It's
old.
wacky racers.
Yeah, he's 8 years old and
Yeah.
he's racing wacky racers.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it just
Yeah.
it should have been that. The second movie should have been his descent to the dark side and their whole falling out, and the third movie should have been him scouring the galaxy to find the last of the Jedi to wipe them out.
Right.
Since
Like,
that's
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just
he
funny.
was the scourge
just-
of the
it's
Jedi,
just
but
funny.
it's all done in a 30-second montage.
Yeah, it's all
where
like,
he doesn't do jack all. It's all clone troopers,
Yeah.
and he takes out younglings and
well, yeah, because
Mace Windu.
because almost everything said about the previous adventures in episode 4 never happened in
Right.
episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and
And if you're gonna have someone as good looking and as solid an idea as Darth Maul, don't kill him in the first one. Bring in Count Dooku, who, as much as I love Christopher Lee, is very vanilla,
but
and then leave Darth Maul to be a CGI comic character for the
But-
rest of forever.
but wait though, don't you think Darth Maul was a calculated move that was successful?
To an extent,
to-
I feel like he would have been more
of
successful if they
wanting-
kept him around until 2.
But the idea was like to make him resonate by keeping him limited and then killing him. And believe it or not, it's still the only part of that movie people like.
It's true. It's...
Like, and what does he have? 2 lines of dialogue? It kind of was an engineered Boba Fett.
Hey, I'm not saying
yeah,
that he should have talked throughout. I'm just saying you could have utilized him more, and the fact that the animateds keep bringing him back from the dead with metallic legs and he survived being cut in half, but Qui-Gon
What is that?
can't take a poke in the belly.
Yeah.
Like, people right now think Han Solo is alive because Darth Maul was cut in half and fell into a ravine. Why can't Han Solo survive a stab through the chest and falling into an exploding planet's core?
Yeah,
Because Darth Maul did it. Like, nah, you
I
either
love it.
leave him dead,
yeah.
or like Qui-Gon's still alive because it's a little hole. You can, a Bacta tank will
I love it.
seal that
I
up.
love it.
It's-
I love it. So
Put an iron on them. I don't know.
so let's talk about what's next for us. We're
Okay.
going to discuss
We'll be
Rogue
back
One,
with a Rogue One episode.
and then
Spoiler filled,
Yeah.
so see it before you click. We might even do some Christmas presents in that episode.
yeah,
We shall see.
we're going to shoot to do a Christmas present reveal.
Do we
exchange.
want to do like an our favorite Christmas stuff
We could.
episode?
I would like to.
Because I could do a 40-minute spiel on Santa sleighs.
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg is the only Santa I know.
Yeah, or Santa Claus with muscles,
Okay.
which is Hulk Hogan.
I was gonna say, isn't that a Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
movie?
We can debate. See, we'll make the Rogue One review Christmas driven a little bit.
Okay.
We'll sprinkle some Christmas love in Rogue One,
Sounds good.
and I do feel I felt this is how I felt with our Suicide Squad discussion, where it's not done yet. We have more to break down and discuss.
Oh yeah, we just
with-
have to
with
see the
Star Wars.
content.
Yeah,
That's a Star
I mean,
Wars.
with
I could
Star
go
Wars.
on forever.
yeah. I mean, I really
We
want.
could honestly probably do an episode per movie
We could.
and just talk about.
Yeah.
I could tell you experiences I had watching A New Hope,
Yeah,
Empire, Return of the Jedi.
I just really feel like the what I'm more interested in is what you feel about 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And like why, and that goes for most people.
Oh, I can see
Like
that.
those are the only ones.
I'm the voice in this show of that generation because
Yeah.
I was at that target age
Yeah.
for
and I was.
this is who we're marketing it to.
Yeah, and I was probably the one not targeted,
Right.
and
Mhm.
you know I'm the one that left angry. But all right, until next time.
We shall see you in the interwebinal
Yeah.
floating space.
And in the meantime, read comics.
Yeah, check out some movies. Let
Check
us
out
know what's
movies,
good.
read
Let
some
us know
books.
what's crap. We won't waste our time.
Yeah, and let's just go into Rogue One.
Yeah.
Open mind,
Amen.
open heart,
Let's get pumped.
and willing to have a good time, because that's the biggest factor.
Let's tie into Rebels, everybody.
Low expectations, but
Yeah.
let's have a good time. Let's
Hey,
just
man, it is a
sit-
Battlefront movie.
let's just sit down, watch a freaking movie,
Mhm.
drink some alcohol,
Amen.
probably eating popcorn.
Maybe toke a little tokey toke in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
This movie theater sells chicken fingers and all kinds of good fried food. I'll be eating that too.
Yep, mine has
even with our
recliners
post dinner, yeah, and that's it.
and assigned seats, so I can sit at the bar until
Yeah,
the movie
I
starts.
can't believe. Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
I don't have to wait in line anymore.
Yeah, there's. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but there is something against. I have a huge feeling against that nowadays.
Oh, I believe it. When you text me and say, meet me at the Cherry Hill if we're going to see this together, I'm like, ugh,
yeah.
I might end up with crap seats.
But we'll talk more later. In the meantime, we'll check out Star Wars. We'll have a good time, and that's it.
Yeah, be safe, everybody. Have a good time.
Goodbye.